On Global TV News Express, Tinubu directs reactivation of presidential project delivery tracker. Court hears Kano governor's appeal Monday. On the foreign scene, Justice Minister says former Guinea dictator Kamara escapes from prison in jailbreak. Plus, Hamas Health Ministry says 15 killed at Gaza UN school in Israeli strike. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world. Still Global TV News Express in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Wiyag Mofwegbe. President Bola Tinubu has directed the reactivation of the presidential delivery tracker to enable Nigerians track the implementation of projects across the country in real time. Speaking at the closing session of the three-day cabinet retreat in Abuja yesterday, the president said his determination to ensure the active and direct participation of citizens in governance was unwavering, noting that all Nigerians must be given the opportunity to track and report on the implementation of projects across the country. The president said he had asked his special advisor on policy and coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, to immediately reactivate the tracking system in a way that maximally leverages cutting-edge digital innovation to provide real-time oversight capability for the benefit of all Nigerians. The president further implored all members of his cabinet to work very hard to meet the expectations of citizens. The federal government has commenced investigation into the private jet accident that occurred at the Ibadan airport on Friday night. Officials of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau confirmed on Saturday morning that the aircraft crash-landed at the airport the previous night, but stressed that there was no casualty. They stated that investigators from the Bureau had been sent to the scene of the accident and promised to provide further details as they unfold. It was gathered that the aircraft was operated by Flint Aero as it departed Abuja to Ibadan and crashed short of the runway in Ibadan. The HS-25B aircraft with call sign 5NAMM reportedly had 10 passengers and 3 crew on board and was airborne Abuja at 18:41 hours, but crashed into the bush short of the runway at about 19:21 hours. Although there was no fatality, sources said the aircraft sustained substantial damage as all passengers and crew were safely evacuated. As the President Bola Tinubu administration introduces policies to drive the country's economy, the agricultural sector has been projected to contribute significantly to Nigeria's gross domestic product. This special report by Chidinma Jewesen highlights issues associated with the poultry subsector.
With an ever-growing urban and rural economy, there had been great clamor for diversification of Nigeria's economy and a deliberate national drive to promote agriculture as a business, which makes agriculture account for about 23% of the country's GDP. Incidentally, the poultry subsector contributes over 20% of the total livestock and fisheries shares of agriculture's GDP, which makes agriculture a huge contributor to the nation's gross domestic earnings. However, the poultry subsector is still subjected to a lot of challenges. This special report focuses on the intricacies of poultry farming in Nigeria, how agricultural policies affect the business of poultry farming, and the impact the ban, which was recently lifted, will have on the poultry farming business in Nigeria. Even with the increased focus on poultry farming, the poultry subsector has experienced a lot of challenges over the years, which has impacted the business.
I think when we're talking about the challenges of poultry in Nigeria, the challenges are so enormous, but to highlight few of it, like in recent time, we had a COVID-19 pandemic, which really hit the industry so greatly that some of the farms were closed. We also have this cash crunch of cashless policy of CBN, which also posed a lot of threats to the industry, that many farms were closed down especially in FCT here.
Even more so, with the recent lifting of ban on poultry items, what sort of impact would this have on the industry, positive or negative?
The idea of lifting the ban on this poultry product, I wouldn't say it's a bad one, but it has its attending negative impact on the production in the country. If the ban is being lifted, it will affect the local production actually. Most of those imported products, we can't ascertain the level of, health safety, yes, in it, because most of them, you don't know how they have been preserved over time before they have been imported into the country. The state of emergency declared on food security is a very laudable program of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
As a fast-developing subsector that contributes over 20% of agricultural GDP, what developmental policies and action plans are being put in place to build the poultry industry?
There are a lot of policies and programs, but as we always experience, the implementation is always the problem. Because even in FCT here, I have worked directly with the Animal Husbandry Development. We came up with a good policy. And
what are the key issues that needs to be addressed to secure continued growth for Nigeria's poultry industry?
The key things that need to be, put in place. First of all, most of these farmers need funds for those in the sector, because most times we also want to access credit facility. The term and the condition are not too favorable. The road to most of these farms are very bad, that hamper the success that ordinarily the farmers would have achieved.
In a recent interview, the Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, expressed readiness by the ministry to tackle challenges faced by poultry farmers as well as challenges of food security, in corroboration with the President's declaration of a state of emergency on food security.
In mere mentioning in his renewed agenda, renewed hope agenda, that I also see that hope, that commitment in him when he declared the food emergency in the country on the first day.
However, in what practical ways will these drastic measures effectively revive the nation's food and agricultural sector? Well, that remains to be seen by Nigerians. Chidima Jawasin, Global TV News.
Thank you, Chidima. President Bola Tinubu on Friday in Abuja expressed his appreciation to France for the return of $150 million stolen from Nigeria by former head of state, General Sani Abacha. In addition to the recovery of another tranche of Abacha loot, the president acknowledged the signing of a €100 million agreement between Nigeria and France to support the iDice program, a federal government initiative to promote investments in information and communications technology, ICT, as well as creative arts industries. The president commended the strengthening of bilateral relations between Nigeria and France, noting that this progress followed his visit to Paris after his inauguration. The agreement was signed by Bosso Tijani, the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, and the French Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs at an earlier event at Tafawa Balewa House, the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The president, while emphasizing the need to reinforce collaboration on both political and economic fronts, welcomed the growing cooperation between the two countries in areas of shared interest, such as climate change, economic integration, education, and culture. The Zungeru hydropower project is estimated to generate 2.64 billion kilowatts of electricity annually. In a document from the Chinese embassy in Abuja on Saturday, the project amounted to $1.3 billion and it is to generate 2,630 gigawatts energy with a total installed capacity of 700 megawatts. The document says the project, which cost about $1.3 billion, is the biggest power project completed in the country in the past 10 years and one of the biggest power projects in Africa to avail preferential loan facility from the Export-Import Bank of China. The construction works on the power projects started in May 2013. On August 15, 2023, the project was successfully handed over to the Nigerian government. The Zungeru hydropower project is a testament to the China-Nigeria partnership at its best and is set to make a significant contribution to Nigeria's power generation capacity. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has fixed Monday for hearing of the appeal filed by Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) challenging the nullification of his election by the Kano State's Election Petitions Tribunal. The tribunal nullified Yusuf's election by declaring 165,663 of his votes invalid, saying they were not signed or stamped by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). INEC had declared him the winner of the March 18 election after he secured 1,019,602 votes against his opponent, Nasiru Gawuna of the All Progressives Congress (APC), who secured 890,705 votes. However, after the tribunal deducted the 165,663 votes from his tally, his votes were reduced to 853,939,000, over 30,000 votes less than Ganawa's figure. The court declared the APC candidate the winner of the governorship election and ordered the INEC to withdraw Yusuf's certificate of return and give it to Gawuna a new one. Yusuf and the NNPP have since appealed to the tribunal's judgment, asking that it be overturned in their favor. The organized labor on Friday declared Wednesday, 8th November 2023, a nationwide strike following the Monday's manhandling of the national president of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), Comrade Joe Ajaro, in Imo State. The deputy president of the NLC, Adewale Adeyanju, and the deputy president of the Trade Union Congress (TUC), in a joint briefing with journalists in Abuja, gave implementation of 6-point demands to the federal government to avert the looming strike. Among the demands are the immediate removal of the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Area Commander, and other state government officials fingered in the alleged brutalization of Ajaru and other workers who were humiliated in the assault. Abia State Commissioner of Police Kenneth Ohumelie has urged members of the State Police Public Relations Committee to report erring police officers for discipline. Ohumelie stated this at a monthly security meeting in Umuahia, saying such reports should be through members of the Police Complaints Response Unit. Represented by the Command's Police Public Relations Officer, Maureen Chinaka, he said the members must be all-round committed and dedicated to the activities of the committee. He also stressed that the divisions and the area commands must work out modalities to send their financial reports to the committee earlier to enhance their operations. Ohumelie urged them to always be security conscious and report any suspicious objects. Sincere apologies for that interruption in our newscast. It was occasioned by technical problem. Thank you so very much for your understanding. Now let's return to our earlier story. The Abia State Commissioner of Police, Kenneth Owemele, has urged members of the State Police Public Relations Committee to report erring police officers for discipline. Owemele stated this at a monthly security meeting in Umuahia, the state capital, saying such reports should be through members of the Police Complaints Response Unit. Represented by the Command's Police Public Relations Officer, Maureen Chinaka, he said the members must be all-round committed and dedicated to the activities of the committee. He also stressed that the divisions and the area commands must work out modalities to send their financial reports to the committee area to enhance their operations. Owemele urged them to always be security conscious and report any suspicious objects, person or movement of people to the nearest police station for intervention. Such report, he said, must be through the divisional police officers or area commands. In his remarks, the chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Owonsu, advised the members to eschew acrimony, rancor, and bitterness. The Lagos State government has announced that it will be closing the Eko Bridge between Costain and Alaka Crescent to carry out emergency repairs. This was contained in a press statement signed by the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshimeyi. The repairs, the government says, are necessary to avoid the complete vandalization and theft of the expansion joints, as well as the replacement of missing parts and the recasting of the transition concretes around the expansion joint. It says motorists planning to use the bridge are consequently advised to use the Costain ramp to link Alaka through the Costain roundabouts. The bridge will be closed on Saturday, November 4, 2023 by 4 a.m. and reopened on Monday, November 6, 2023. You're watching Global TV News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate PTAD says 50,000 ghost workers removal from pension payroll brews conflict. The news continues shortly with details of these and other stories for you right after this break. Do stay with us. This is Global Television, bringing you a live broadcast of the News Express from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, with Uyi Agumofwegbe. Let's turn to the foreign scene for you. Guinea's former military ruler Musa Dadis Camara has been sprung from prison by armed men, the country's justice minister says. The group stormed a jail in the capital, Conakry, early on Saturday morning, freeing Captain Camara and 3 others. One has since been found. The fugitives are currently on trial for their alleged roles in deaths of more than 150 people in the 2009 protests. The country's borders have been closed as the authorities hunt for them. Guinea's Justice Minister Charles Alphonse Wright announced the escape on Saturday. Gunshots were heard in Conakry starting before dawn. The city center was cordoned off and military vehicles were also seen on the streets. Among the others reported to have escaped were Colonel Claude Peavy, a former government minister who is accused of also being involved in the murder of people at Conakry Stadium on 28 September 2009. At least 157 people died when troops attacked people protesting against military rule. Scores of women were raped. The health ministry in Hamas-run Gaza says at least 15 people were killed Saturday when a UN school sheltering thousands of displaced Palestinians was hit by an Israeli strike. The massacre at the Al-Fakura school, committed by the occupation Israel this morning, left 15 martyrs and 70 wounded. The ministry spokesman Ashraf Al-Qudra told a press conference. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees said its school is being used as a shelter for displaced families. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli military about hitting the school in Jabalia refugee camp. An estimated 1.4 million people have been displaced in 4 weeks of war out of the territory's 2.4 million residents with many crammed into schools or hospitals. The Health Ministry says Saturday at least 9,488 people have been killed across Gaza, the majority civilians, since Israel started pounding the territory on October 7. More than 150 people have been killed after an earthquake struck remote western Nepal on Friday. Security forces have been deployed to help rescue efforts in the rugged districts of Jajakot and West Rokham, 500 west of Kathmandu. Strong tremors were felt far away in the Nepalese capital and in cities in neighboring India, including Delhi. The army spokesman said more than 100 people have been injured. Jajakot Hospital is packed with the wounded. Rabi Casey, mayor of Hathbiskot municipality, said that a very strong jolt was felt at midnight and people rushed outdoors. Hundreds of mud houses have been completely damaged. 3 more tremors were felt within an hour of the quake and many people to their houses. Let's turn to other stories for you now on News Express. So the removal of over 50,000 ghost pensioners from payroll and the adjustment of inflated pension benefits by corrupt persons within pension offices of some government agencies in the past are also bringing trouble with the directorates, according to the Executive Secretary, Chioma Ejekere. She stated that corruption that has been fought to a standstill under the old pension scheme, the Defined Benefit Scheme, DBS, is fighting back, especially as a result of her reappointment. She said genuine pensioners are happy with the work of the directorate, as many who were removed from payroll and replaced with ghost pensioners by the unscrupulous people have been brought back on payroll, while others shorts paid are paid appropriately. However, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, NUP, has commended President Bola Tinubu for reappointing Chioma Ejekeme as the Executive Secretary of PTAD. Nigerians numbering over 26.5 million, including internally displaced persons, IDPs, may be plunged into acute food insecurity between June and August 2024. The CADA Harmonize report has shown. The report, which was launched by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Abuja on Friday, showed that the post-effect of petrol subsidy removal had its toll on food prices, which impacted household capacity to sustain acceptable food consumption patterns. The report, which covered 26 states and the Federal Capital Territory, also showed a reduced harvests and household stock resulting from flash floods that led to displacement and loss of cultivated crop fields and ready-to-harvest crops. Going into the lean season, June to August 2024, households may experience slight to moderate deterioration in food consumption, which may plunge several states into crisis phase. Let's talk a bit of sports now. The organizers of the annual Lagos Women Run have confirmed that about 8,000 fun runners have registered to participate in the November 11 race, while 300 professionals have indicated interest in the race. The 10-kilometer race will begin from Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS, Lagos Island, through to Nitel Road to Amado Bello Way and end at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, formerly known as Onikon Stadium, Lagos Island, aimed at promoting good health, empowerment, and support for girl child. Popular reviewed that this year's event will see the main winner take home 1.5 million as against 1 million in the previous editions, while the veteran category cash prize moved from 300 to 500,000. Let's now turn to Sharon, who has an update for us on sports.
Board of the Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL) has imposed a fine of 1 million naira on Atland of Owerri for breaching league rules. The NPFL board said Atland have been charged for breaching league rules following the pitch encroachment of their players and officials to protest a decision by the match officials during their game against Rivers United on November 1st. The league body said a fine of 1 million naira has been imposed on the Owerri club for encroaching onto the field of play in the face of a recent warning letter. Atlant's next home match at their ground, Dan Iyam Stadium in Owerri, will be played behind closed door. Sharona J reporting for Global TV News.
Incidentally, Sharon's report wraps up the News Express here on Global Television. I'm Uyag Mofwebe, thanking you very specially for watching. Do remember to join us later on News Cycle.